I want to take the Extinction Event on the beast just so they don't henge. I don't think it much matters. Let's see if it's a henge. If it is, we can all cry right here. If it's not a henge, we're gonna win. I'll take the draw. Interesting. They could gem raise it. No henge. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch Hello Good Game. Today we're talking about the easiest way to beat Gruul aggro within the top 1000 Mythic rank. We take down number 607 today, playing none only other than Gruul aggro, using Crux Delta, who reached Mythic rank number 413. And, you know, there's no doubts there that they faced a few Gruul decks, as in traditional standard, this is one of the most frequently seen and strongest decks in the meta. So today, we're going to break it down. We're talking about why and how does Mono Black Control beat Gruul aggro so well and so efficiently, especially in traditional best of 3. So if you do find any value within today's video, I really encourage you to go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the channel for future content. Let's get right into it. 4 copies of Bloodchief's Thirst. This is my favorite uncommon within Zendikar Rising. You know, it's just the cheapest removal ever. It's like a shock, but even better. Like a shock that you could reuse later as a lava coil almost. It's crazy, right? So for 1, destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. This is why I refer it to being like a shock, because a shock is, you know, 1 mana and it does 2 damage. So, you know, most things with mana 2 or less will have, you know, that toughness of 2 or less. Some things will have 1/3, but this is rare. And of course, we can kick it for 3, so 4 as a total converted mana cost when it is kicked. If this spell was kicked, instead destroy target creature or planeswalker. It doesn't matter on the converted mana cost if you've kicked it. So early game removal, this is really cheap. You can go 1 for 1. You can take out one of their value engines. And when we're breaking down the match versus Gruul aggro, Edgewall Innkeeper, that's going to be their first drop many matches, many times. And I don't know how they always pull it out in their opening hand, but that's what they're apparently mulliganing for, right? So the Bloodchief's Thirst can take out an Innkeeper early game. You know, a little bit later, you can kick it to take out a Lovestruck Beast, which we want to deal with as a high priority as well, because they'll be playing a Lovestruck Beast turn 3, Great Henge turn 4. So, you know, the Bloodchief's Thirst is one of the perfect cards against Gruul aggro. Looking at Duress, we have 4 copies of this. Sorcery Speed for 1. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. And, you know, this might be a little bit off in the Gruul matchup, but again, we do have to compete against the entire meta, not just Gruul aggro. In the, you know, aspect of looking at the deck versus Gruul aggro, Duress is amazing because, you know, instead of just trying to always deal with their creatures so they can't get a reduced cost henge out, we can take henge right from their draw hand, right? We can take Embercleave right from their draw hand, really stifling their game plan. They're just left with creatures now that don't do much, and we have plenty of removal to get us through the day there. Mazemind Tome ×4. You know, this is a must-have in any control deck, especially in Ugin-style control decks, because when we minus our Ugin to exile colored permanents, the Mazemind Tome will stay in effect. Plus, it will just help us draw, you know, a land if we need it, removal if we need it, and, you know, if none of those things, just looking for Ugin at an expedited rate. So, of course, we do get to tap it when it enters the battlefield to scry 1. Putting a counter on it as well. We can pay 2 tapping it to draw a card, also putting a counter on it. When 4 counters are accumulated, you have to sacrifice it. You'll gain 4 life for the occasion. 3 copies of Heartless Act, our last 2-drop, instant speed, and we get to choose 1. Destroy target creature with no counters on it. Remove up to 3 counters from target creature. So in Gruul, Heartless Act is really good because it can go both ways. We see some people playing with Stonecoil Serpent still. It's not often, but it is there. Heartless Act can take, you know, the wind right out of the Serpent's sails, often reducing it to a 0/0, so it just dies. You know, when Henge is in play, it's probably already too late, but because Heartless Act is instant speed, you know, a creature enters, the +1/+1 from the Henge goes on the stack. You can remove the creature before the +1/+1 hits the creature. That's nice. And of course, you can just remove a questing beast as it comes at you with haste at instant speed. So that's really good all around. And even again, like I said, taking the Lovestruck Beast out of play so they can't reduce the cost of the Henge to play it on turn 4. Into our 1 copy of Grim Tutor, our only 3-drop. Search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. You lose 3 life. Well, I mean, it should be no question as to our primary goal. Ideally, this is going to be Ugin the Spirit Dragon. You may also want your Forsaken Monument. You know, both of these are very, very good. If there's an open board, you might not need Ugin, and maybe the Monument is better. We also have more copies of Ugin, so the chance of pulling it is higher than the Monument. And again, the Monument's a great way to gain life, make our colorless things stronger, which isn't really applicable here too much. And of course, it really helps us ramp, right? So if we don't have enough mana for Ugin yet, why pull an Ugin with the Tutor, pull your Monument, and now all of our colorless land that will add, see, from the Monument, whenever you tap a permanent for a colorless mana, you add an additional colorless mana from the Monument. This will help us ramp into Ugin really good. So the Grim Tutor is great to pull the Monument. If we're really feeling sassy, we can pull the Lithoform Engine. You know, this is an artifact for 4 when it enters, or at any time when it is in play. Obviously, you can pay to tap it to copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, and now we need to get into that as a whole different strategy and synergy, but we'll finish up with the Grim Tutor first. We can pay 3, tap it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. This is great. You know, even copying an Extinction Event for odd and even is really cool. But again, we're going to get into that a little bit later. And then we can pay 4 to tap a copy target permanent spell you control. The copy becomes a token, which is, you know, not the greatest, but it's still semi-relevant if you have the mana to spend. So Grim Tutor can take basically anything you want. As far as the Monument, the Lithoform Engine, your Ugin goes. One really cool thing as well is, you know, jumping ahead here, kind of skipping our 4-drops, is the Clackbridge Troll. An 8/8 with Trample and Haste. When it enters the battlefield, opponent creates 3 0/1 white goat creature tokens, and at the beginning of combat on our turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap the Troll, gain 3 life, and draw a card. You know, we only have 1 Grim Tutor, so you don't really want to draw the Troll, but if you have the Troll in your hand organically, better yet, even in play, you can use your Tutor to grab your Massacre Wurm. Massacre Wurm is a 6/5, and when it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, that player loses 2 life. So the Troll will create the 3 0/1s. The Massacre Wurm will destroy them, allowing your Troll to attack much, much sooner than it regular would have been. So, you know, that's a kind of a far outlier for Grim Tutor, but if you have the Troll in play and you're just looking to get it going, you can Tutor for the Worm, wipe your opponent's field of 2 toughness and less, including Indestructible. So, you know, not within Gruul, but, you know, within other decks there are indestructible, and indestructible creatures can't exist with negative toughness. So, you know, let's get back on track here. We do have the Extinction Event. Now, this is great. In Gruul decks, many of their cards are 4 or less, odd and even split. But when we can prioritize our single target removal, like Bloodchief's Thirst, like Heartless Act, then we can, you know, use Extinction Event. So we kind of want to use our single target removal on odds. That's how I do it, because Bloodchief's Thirst, you want to hit, obviously, the Edgewall Innkeeper with. And then Heartless Act, you want to hit the Lovestruck Beast with, right? The same as Bloodchief's Thirst again, which will allow your Extinction Event to pick up evens out of the gate, right? Again, this is just recommended. It will depend on your individual matches, but that's how I always prioritize my removal. I go, you know, single target on odds, and then I do Extinction Event on evens, unless things get a little bit out of hand. We do have to take a note in that the Simulacrum is an even, so we don't want to exile that. We want it to be destroyed so we get the draw from it. So try not to events your Simulacrum. If you have Simulacrum in, you can basically just Kamikaze attack in, and they'll block it with their Lovestruck Beast or something, and then you'll get the draw, and then you can Extinction Event for the wipe, so you still get the draw out of that. So yeah, try to prioritize your Extinction Event so you're hitting the correct things and getting the most out of it. And of course, choose odd or even, exile each creature card with the converted mana cost of the chosen value. Absolutely amazing. We talked about copying it with our Lithoform Engine. We can also copy Heartless Act, Bloodchief's Thirst, Duress, Grim Tutor, but that's like, these are both singles, so it would be very rare to get the Lithoform Engine in before your Grim Tutor. So it's a possibility, but not really relevant. The Simulacrum is really good. This is a great permanent to copy with Lithoform Engine for 4, as it just costs 4 organically. So it's just like you're playing unlimited Simulacrums. You get to ramp, which is really good. Each time it enters, you get a new land, and then when they die, you get to draw a card. So that is a very, very cool synergy with Lithoform Engine and Simulacrum. Moving forward, we talked about the Monument. Colorless creatures, you get +2/+2. All of the Simulacrums that we start, multiplying and adding through Lithoform Engine will all be 4/4s, which is really cool. And then we're tapping mana for additional if it's colorless mana. And then whenever we cast a colorless spell, we gain 2 life, which is a little bit of survivability. We talked about the Troll already, an 8/8 that gives 3 0/1s. We can't attack if they sacrifice something, but if there's nothing to sacrifice, then we can finally attack, which is really cool. And a Trample Haste 8/8, how much better does it get? And the Worm to kill the tokens. It can also kill token decks or things with Indestructible that are kind of weak, like Seasoned Hallowblade. In aspects to Gruul, I don't know how good the Clackbridge Troll and the Massacre Wurm are, other than their strength and toughness. They're both really big bodies. Again, Questing Beast can just trade with it, so that's kind of awkward, and sometimes they run removal, like ram through. So against Gruul, I like to really just focus on removal, and we kind of leave the aggro to the other kind of archetype matchups, right? And of course, we have Ugin the Spirit Dragon, 7 loyalty, +2 3 damage to any target. That'd be crazy if it was +3. -X, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less that's 1 or more colorless. So everything that's not colorless. And -10, you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and put 7 permanents from your hand into the battlefield, and obviously have your opponent concede the game. So Ugin's great. Obviously, Gruul is going to be all colored stuff. The only thing here is Ugin cannot -X on the Great Henge. That is why it is so important when you are playing against Gruul to deal with their high-powered creatures. Yes, we do want to deal with their draw engine. Obviously, that's a given. But the Lovestruck Beast is a 5/5 on turn 3. We need to get rid of it because they will play the Henge. And if they get their Henge out before you get your Ugin out, it is not a good time at all. It's very, very bad, right? Obviously, that is because the Henge is a 9-drop and Ugin enters as 7 loyalty. Can't minus on the Henge out of the gate, so it's very hard to deal with. We've got some great land within the deck. So I've been talking about colorless land that we will tap for additional through the Forsaken Monument. Radiant Fountain, not only is it survivability, great against aggro decks, including Gruul, gaining 2 life multiple times could save you. The Labyrinth is great as well. Again, more mana through the Monument, and we can remove a creature from combat. That's amazing. Gruul is always about attacking. Let's take out, an Embercleave creature from combat, please and thank you. Field of Ruin, maybe they've got some non-basic lands that we want to pick off, kind of restricting their mana base. And again, Forsaken Monument ramp there as well. Crawling Barrens, again, Forsaken Monument ramp, and it's a really cool creature. We can pay 4 to put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, either making it a creature or not. That's up to us. And if we do, it can attack with, actually there's no haste, but obviously your lands will probably be in for a little bit before that. So again, you can eventually make the Crawling Barrens big enough to smash your opponent. And against Gruul, because I don't utilize the Troll and Worm a lot, I like to really fall back onto the Barrens, right? Get my Barrens big enough through all of the ramp, and then if they do attack, instant speed blocker that's now a 6/6 that you forgot about. Stuff like this, right? Moving forward, we have 10 Swamps and 2 Castle Locthwains. Obviously, we can pay 4 to draw a card, losing life equal to the number of cards in our hand after the draw. But again, there's a lot of life gain in the deck through the Monument whenever we play a colorless spell, so it's not that bad to play life sometimes. And getting into the sideboard, because we are playing traditional today, best of 3, 2 copies of Erebos Intervention and instant speed 1+X. Choose 1. Target creature gets -X and -X until end of turn. You gain X life. this is great if there's anything with indestructible, right? Or if there's any big baddies that you can't kill. Typically, we just use our single target removal on it, but you never know, and you know, maybe they're pulling indestructible out from somewhere. Shadow's Verdict. Now this is really good against Gruul. Sorcery speed for 5, so it's a little bit expensive, but if we can survive and get it off, exiling all creature and planeswalkers with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creature and planeswalker cards from the graveyards with converted mana cost 3 or less as well. Typically, Gruul is really low to the ground. Gruul aggro, for sure, super low to the ground. I think their only 4-drop might be Questing Beast, right? Lovestruck Beast, Bonecrusher Giant, Kazandu Mammoth, these are all 3-drops, right? 3 and less. So we can basically take everything away from them with Shadow's Verdict. So it's like a little bit more expensive, a little bit more efficient copy of Extinction Event that can't hit Questing Beast. So I love Shadow's Verdict. Covetous Urge, sorcery speed for 4. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from that player's hand or graveyard. You get to exile it. You can also cast that card as long as it remains exiled and spend mana as though it were any color. So this is actually really cool. You can take opponents' Ugins before they can drop them, potentially in like mirror matchups. Against Gruul, I don't know how much I focus on this. You can take good things, but how much will you utilize those things that you take, right? Are you really getting enough value out of taking their Great Henge, right? Do you have creatures to drop on the Henge consistently to, you know, utilize it? Not so much. Is an Embercleave useful to you? Not really. So the Urge is something, you know, not really related to Gruul for me personally. But again, when you do come up into a mirror matchup or another control match, the Urge is absolutely amazing. Soul Shatter, this goes either way. I absolutely love this almost in any deck I play. Instant speed for 3. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker card with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control. So we're trying to mitigate the Great Henge. This will take care of their biggest creature, Lovestruck Beast, whatever. It also takes care of creatures with hexproof because they have to choose, right? The opponent sacrifices. So if opponent's got a Dream Trawler, I know we're focusing on Gruul, but it happens. They'll have to sacrifice their Dream Trawler. That's awesome. They play an Ugin. They have to sacrifice their Ugin. Soul Shatter is just an amazing sleeper to me. Goes in any sideboard play. Necromentia, this is pretty cool against Gruul because they rely so heavily on the Henge, so heavily on Embercleave. That you get to, at sorcery speed for 3, choose a card name other than a basic land card name, search the opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that chosen name, exile them, that player shuffles their library and gets to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token for each card exiled only from their hand this way. So they only get a 2/2 zombie if a couple copies or one or more copy of that card that you're exiling is in their hand. And again, you get to just eliminate a card from their deck. And again, even if it is a mirror match against Ugin, it's not only Gruul decks that Necromentia is relevant against taking the Henge, taking the Cleave, but any deck that relies on a couple cards as their main engine. So, you know, any control deck that's focusing on Ugin, focusing on Dream Trawler, just take all 4 copies of it away. It's absolutely amazing. 2 copies of Eliminate, you know, instant speed for 2. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less. Gruul mostly has converted mana cost 3 or less. It's great instant speed removal. The only thing it doesn't hit is the Questing Beast. And 3 copies of Clink to Dust, not really relevant against Gruul, but against Rakdos, which is around, it does become a very cool card. For 1, at instant speed, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life, otherwise draw a card. We can escape it for 4, plus exiling 5 other cards from our graveyard to replay it, which is pretty cool. And again, there's nothing better than just taking a Kroxa out of play once your opponent's played it and dealing with it that way. With that all out of the way, this is mono black control or colorless black control, whichever you want to call it. And of course, it is the Ugin ramp, but you know, how other ways or what other ways are we expected to compete within such high mythic rank? So again, big shout out to Crux Delta for the deck reaching mythic rank 413, and I went you know, 100% win rate, climbing a little bit higher within the percentages in mythic. And you know, thanks for your time and attention. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, our Amazon link. Check out our 500,000 gem giveaway, free cash prize monthly tournaments, and of course 100% do not forget to download for free the Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant, available in the Overwolf link in the description below. Deck stats, write-ups, videos, metagame analysis, and overview, your draw percentages, and so much more. And again, this is available for free. Check it out. Everything else is in the Linktree link. Take care, enjoy the video, and we'll see you for our wrap-up thoughts in a couple seconds. Peace! Opponent goes first, not good. Top 700, not good. Basically top 600. Playing Gruul. You would, wouldn't you? And I wouldn't die. It's a good feeling. Right? Rather than just like having that sit there for a bit, that sucks. We've got a cat storm going on. Whew, my eye's upset. She doesn't want to see any more Gruul today. Right, big hits, baby. We're gonna get to this next turn too, so hopefully not a mammoth. It's basically just as bad. Trying to survive till our Uganos. Sitting on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We should get there if we don't get Slambered cleaved here. And you know, Fable Passage helps them so much. If this is an Ember Cleave, that's game. No. What is it? Nothing? Interesting. The Henge. Nice. That's the one thing Ugin doesn't beat. Right? We hit even because if they drop the giant, it can't attack, and then maybe we pull another and we can hit odd with the second one. We don't have enough land is the thing. And a mammoth, awesome. Oh, Gruul. Gruul, 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 Gruul. I know, Maya, I'm upset too. Get him, girl. She's like, stop putting me on camera. Right, if we could pull another event off the top, I might be satisfied, but it's still gonna be risky biscuits. No, not even close. That's just good game. Cool. Gruul, Gruul, Gruul. I hate Gruul. I mean, Eliminate takes care of many, many things. Right? We could Necromentia for that henge. Alright, so let's drop our Tutor. Take... and our Lithoform, and take Necromentias instead. It's still like everything else. I wish the Soul Shatter was like permanent, not creature or planeswalker. Because at the end of the day, it's like, how do we kill the henge? Right? How are we going to kill this henge other than Necromentia? Maybe the Urge? One Gruul card's not going to separate the game, though. Yeah, we just need to Duress and Necro. 3 cards to drop here. You know, the Worm doesn't do much, but it's a good blocker. It hits the 1/1s, and that's about it. Trolls are just as good of a blocker, but they don't remove. They give us the draw, which is nice. I don't know what to drop here. This is too much. 2 Necromentias. The Eliminate's good. Let's drop a Troll and 1 Worm. Spread it out. Doesn't give us a lot of bang for our buck, but hopefully we can just deal with them more efficiently. Right, like we didn't even get to a 6-drop there, so, you know, Those are dead cards anyway. Nice hand, bro. Alright, at least there's thick removal. Alright. You settle down. Of course they do. I thought we were at a good start last time when we did that, but it was not even enough. You know what I mean? So if they're not going to play, let's take a look. And we're going to take the Slamber Cleave. Ooh, they pay life to get the Mammoth out. Nice. And they're stuck with just land after this. Choose or eliminate, 3 or less. That way Heartless Act can hit a questing beast or something. Take our turn. Tome enters. Pass. Pull up our act. Two damage is better than 4. Let's take our scry. There's a Bone Crusher on us, that's fine. More removal, I actually don't really mind. Sorcery speed, but I guess that'll be perfect. Still, 2 damage is better than 4. That 5th land we need. Let's pass our turn. We'll take draws off the tome. Instant speed removal. No. If they drop adventure on this, I'm gonna cry. We should have scryed first. We can draw for 2, still leaves us 4 as a last resort. Nice. Get out of here, Mr. Draw Engine. Hopefully we can snuff them out here. They got 8 land in play. Let's catch up here, take our 8. You're good, brah. Crawling Barrens are ready to strike once they're burnt out. Tome in play. Yeah, let's go for it. Just an Ember Cleave in play. I was scared. I was like, it's a Bone Crusher Giant on our Barrens. No! End our turn. The Harbinger, hexproof from black. It's an odd. We're even, so that's great. Let's hit our scry up. Duress is garbage right now. That's a good setup. It's non-targeted, so hexproof literally doesn't matter. Let's smash home, this time for 6. Down to 7, potentially lethal next turn if they top deck a land. Nice. Heartless Act is great, instant speed removal. We hit for 8. Good game. Alright, the Harbinger from the sideboard is a nasty sideboard play on their behalf. I'm not even going to try to hide that. It's pretty good. Hexproof from black. That makes me want the Soul Shatter a little bit. It is instant speed too. Three or less, eh? It's an option. Go full control. I mean, I feel bad not running any creatures here, but against a Gruul deck, our creatures are always just gonna get hit with something. $50 seconds. One card to drop. I guess it could be an Eliminate or a Bloodchief's Thirst. Shoot. I really want to keep Soul Shatter. 61, LOL. 21 seconds. I could go 61. I don't think I want to, though. 61 for the win? I see people playing with more than 60 cards often. So, I know it's bad for consistency's sakes, but yeah, we're not doing it all the time, just one game. And if we lose, it's because of that extra card, I tell you what. Ah, gross. All right. It doesn't look bad. Like, if we can Forsaken Monument into an Ugin, not the worst. What we need is a Simulacrum for the ramp. Wow, nice. So we're just gonna have them kill that. Ugin can go. Let's just do it sorcery speed. It's a nasty sideboard play against us. We're lucky enough to pick it up with our own sideboard play. That's that 61st card, you guys. Just saved us. Duress. Not bad. It's not removal though. Good, good, good. We're 4, we go to 5 here. That allows us to play our Monument. Monument allows the Radiant Fountains to tap for 2, same as the Field of Ruin. But we don't want them to henge. If they henge, I'm going to be super upset. We should have kept that Duress. We could have squeezed it in right here easily. Ouch! Why did we toss that Duress to the bottom? I want to take the Extinction Event on the Beast just so they don't henge. I don't think it much matters. Let's see if it's a henge. If it is, we can all cry right here. If it's not a henge, we're gonna win. I'll take the draw. Interesting. They could gem raise it. No henge. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. Thank you, Uganos. I heard a lot of people say I rely on Ugin recently, but, you know, what else are you doing? How else are you going to win games in Mythic? I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is. I am who I am. We've you know, field wipe here, which is great. They need haste, but, you know, unless it's a questing beast, we're okay. Stop it. You're cute. That's Miss Maya, right? I'm gonna let the Thrashing Brontodon kill a monument because I have a backup one. Take our draw here. And eliminate so we don't have to worry about it. Sick top deck, bruh. Ooh. On their behalf as well. Take a few draws here. It's not removal, so let's take another draw. Not removal either. This costs 3, we have 6. We have plenty of life. Let's see what we get. Removal that we cannot afford to cast. Hopefully they don't get a draw here, they don't, so that's nice. And let's take those draws again. Just paying for themselves, that's awesome. Nice. So I think we just won against top 600 with the mono black control. Take some draws. Hitting our library. Draw, draw, draw. 4 life here. I ain't scared. Let's just hyper blast through our deck here. We should have attacked with the Crawling Barrens there, I guess. Oh well. We've got a full hand though, and that really, really helps. Right, we can even just at least put the counter on it. 100% win rate within Mythic, beating some of the best in the world. Hey, that was a good match of Magic. I enjoyed that. There's nothing like beating down some of the top decks played by some of the top players in Magic the Gathering Arena, which I do not consider myself. Maybe you guys do, but you know, ask CGB, ask Crokies, they've played against me. I'm dog shit. Right? I just have brain meltdowns. But, you know, that's the story. And that's actually why I love Magic the Gathering Arena so much, and just Magic the Gathering in general for years. Is it's tough. It's a hard game. There's so many different aspects and variations and, like, so many cards to just know, right? And then to not even know them, but to know how they interact with each other and stuff. It's a lot. And I like hard things, something that I don't just like 100% right away. You know, it's boring, would have moved on. That continual grind is absolutely amazing and what keeps me involved. So let me know what you guys thought of the deck, any comments, suggestions, blah, 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 blah. You know where to leave them down below. And of course, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Take care, have a great day, and we'll see you soon in another Magic the Gathering Arena video.